Look, I hate to say it, but as it currently stands, Yartapuulti is not playing finals this year. Our girls once again found themselves on the losing list, this time to Waalitj Marawar by 19 points, after leading the game for three quarters of the time. Coming into this season, I had this game on our generally winnable lists. Now, I had to move it to more of a moderate challenge, as obviously the Eagles were showing some good promise, especially in that game against the Bombers, and definitely that game last week against the Saints, where they came back with 5 goals to win. However, with all due respects, I thought we started pretty well. We were generally hunting their players very well, and causing them to steal the ball, and we got it inside 50 quite a lot. And we basically at one point were 19 goals up to basically zero, and we would have kept it that way had O'Day not screwed up a kick and let them get a late goal in that quarter. We did a really good job. We pretty much shut down Roberts for the whole game. Like, she obviously was up there in the fantasy points, but definitely not like number one as she has been in other years, other games. So generally, yeah, very good work there. But problems were already starting to show that even though we had a lot of midfield dominance, we were not getting it transferred on the score. But obviously, we had the 3 goals. But there were other times where I feel like we should have had a lot more goals, and we're just getting inside 50, and then just screwing up and letting the Eagles kick it out again. I am really worried that without Woodland and Teakle down there, we're really undermanned. Like, I think Houghton's doing a good job. I think Tarhal's doing a good job, but everyone else is they're just dropping balls. And speaking of that, that is where things started to get a lot worse as the game went on. Obviously, the Eagles got back in, drew up the score in the second quarter before we thankfully blew the margin back out again in the third quarter. But even in that third quarter, I was getting concerned that there was obviously a big wind advantage we had on the first and third quarters that they then had on the second and definitely had in the fourth quarter. But even when we had the wind advantage in the third quarter, I was very much concerned we had 1 goal. We got 1 goal with the wind advantage. And I was generally becoming very concerned about where things were going. And lo and behold, the fourth quarter was an absolute disaster. Like, straight from the get-go, the Eagles got in front pretty much straight away in the fourth quarter and then just continued to blow out that margin as our previous hunt for the ball just went down and the Eagles found themselves with space. And then as the quarter went on, we were just getting worse and worse and worse at grabbing the ball. We were frequently trying to grab the ball and just running over it or fumbling it. And when we did get it, we'd often just handball it right over the heads of our own players and into open space where naturally another Eagles player was who would just grab it and pinpoint kick it to their player. And it was just getting very disappointing. I don't know if this was a fitness issue because generally we were pretty good with fourth quarters at the end of last year. Or if it's a mental thing, we're just, getting overwhelmed by the power. I am worried that our list's young age is really showing its lack of maturity because I think some of the senior players did really well. I think Hammond did all right for her first game back from injury. And Woodland she was doing solid job in the midfield all the time. And Schultz obviously is always doing really well, but the problem is Schultz is only as good of a ruck as the midfields that are with her, and she was doing the hit outs, but they were frequently just falling to Eagles players, and so sorry, but Schultz can't single handedly carry this team to a win. We really need to get a lift, and I don't want to completely write off the girls for doing a terrible job. We had our moments. Obviously, congrats to Heads and Saldon for getting their first goals, but there are just moments in this game that I think really concern me as to where we're going as a list. As if we're losing this game by this much, 19, we might possibly not have a win for a while. We've got some hard games coming up, and obviously our next game is against Nam, who initially I had this game as sort of a moderate challenge for us, but based on where Nam has been absolutely tearing up the competition, undefeated, and you compare us, who has lost a game, to Frio, who has not won a game since beating us, and the Eagles, who I think have been doing well, but not absolutely tearing up the competition. We are in a concerning spot. Obviously, we're looking forward to. We should have Young next week, but I don't think she's going to be able to make the difference. This team needs to lift. This team needs to fundamentally know how to deal with pressure and, to make sure those handballs connect and make sure they know how to pick up the ball ASAP and move it fast. Because let's say the season is slipping away, Yarrapuuti. Like, really, we need to lift and get into the game fast. Because, like, really, all I can do as a fan is say, let's go power.